Hey everyone, it's Penguin Bond here, doing a sort of Friday Unscripted. It's going to be a new series we're doing every Friday. We're going to shoot a little talk video, sort of like a podcast, but not really. Just going over some of the news from the week. Today I am joined by Cronus. If you want to go ahead and introduce everyone to you.
Hey guys, I'm Cronus501, also known as Analog Man on YouTube. Yeah, just recently joined up with these guys, and now I'm helping in with this podcast kind of thing. So yeah.
All right, and today we are going to be going over the new modified rules and fun little stuff that's coming up with Ultimate Cup, which honestly seems like Digimon's trying to get away from the standard form and go with we're gonna have some fun and we're gonna try and get back to our roots here. If I'm the only one seeing it that way, then hey, but hopefully not. So we
I mean,
got. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Cronus.
oh no, that's fine.
So up on the screen, as you guys can see, Ultimate Cup 2023 March through April modified rules. Single color deck building. Players must construct a deck and digi-egg deck using cards of only one color. Multicolor cards with a matching color are also legal for use. You're restricted to one on promo Grand Kuwagamon. Your Chaos Degradation from your starter deck. And for your ban cards, no more Death X, no Were Garurumon X Antibody, and no Cerberus Werewolf mode. So, Cronus, what does this sort of leave us with to use?
Well, okay, so when I saw that this morning, I was like, how does this even function? Like, okay, the problem, so the main issue that I looked at is that almost every single deck at the moment, even just casual rogue decks, run more than like dual colors at this point. Because I know Mastamon runs a bunch of, it's just yellow purple, but the problem is that their new support is a different color. So if you go with a purple egg, you're stuck with just Lady Devimon, and then if you go with the yellow base, then you're stuck with just Angelomon. So I was seeing discussion about this in the Facebooks where they were talking about how, oh, we have to focus on like putting in Maycrack or something as like the extra level 5 to hard play. And then
Mm-hmm.
people were building really weird like on the Digimon Hatchery Discord, people were like talking about, oh, how do we play Melga without X Antibody or Cool Boy? And somebody's like, okay, just like put four Sagittarius modes, and like same with War Greymon, it's like you don't have the X anymore, so you're just like, okay, let me just swing and then like hope I punch through everything. Or the weirder part is that the only deck I can actually think of that recently came out BT11 that even technically works under all this would be technically King like Sukamon, because it runs a black egg, but everything in the deck is black except for the level 7. So you actually can run that, and I'm gonna predict it's probably gonna be that. And for green, I'm just gonna say it's just gonna be Bloomlord, because Grandis, yeah, no promo Grandis means you're not digibursting no more, and that's not a fun time,
I mean,
because that deck.
even at one, that thing is a pain to find at four, so I can't imagine you're going to be able to draw it at one.
That is true. As like the main issue still with green to this day, even in Bloomlord, is the fact that the deck has no draw power. It has
Mm-hmm.
a few searchers, a few, but not as many as say Greymon. Greymon is like the king of searching at this point.
That is true, especially with the Tamer and everything else you can do with it now. Greymon just got crazy.
Yeah, no, it gets worse. It gets worse, even worse in BT12, because we get a brand new generic black red War Greymon with Raid. So you don't even need the old D Digivolving guy, because Raid just auto selects a guy and you can kill anything, even if it's unsuspended. So it
So
doesn't
instead
matter.
of doing the Digivolve, you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to swing into you and we're just going to call it a day. I'm not going to worry about you saving yourself.
Yep, that's basically what's going to happen, and that's why the deck is actually seeing a lot of play right now in Japan. Surprisingly, like it's still, even right now, in the new BT13 format, it's
Mm-hmm.
still there, and it's still doing damage. And I don't know why. Like they need to hit Greymon, because Greymon has way too much power at the moment.
See, my thought is with Greymon, it's trying to get its day. but it seems like it's going to be like Jesmon, where Jesmon had its day for 5 seconds, and they were like, "Oh no, we got to fix this. We got to ban this." I see that sort of going the way with Greymon. So now that it has its time, it's going to hit that point where it's like, well, it's too powerful because it's part red. It seems like anything red, they don't really want to be super OP because you can swing a bunch in one turn.
I
But
feel I feel they want a deck. I feel like they want red to be at the level of like you know that new bird deck, you know the Phoenixmon and
yep,
Marsmon
yep,
deck. I think they want it at that level where it can hit, but they don't want it to hit too good.
true. I could see that. I
Like
could see
that's the
that.
main issue because red at the moment is still like one of the strongest colors. I mean, it is red for for aggro. It makes sense. But when you give it so many tools that are generic, especially like the old starter deck one Greymon, that thing in any deck gives you an extra security check. I mean, I even run it in a Dorbic build that I made like way back because it's just so strong. Like you don't even have a requirement. Like every other deck I know of requires a requirement for security plus. Even was it Crossheart? Their extra boost, like their was it their new Omni Shout, the
Mm-hmm.
one that's in BT11,
Yeah.
that requires a guy with Shoutmon in its name to even get the security bonus, which is yeah, like it's great, but every other deck is restricted. But Greymon's like, nah, just have everything for free. And then same with Gabumon. I feel like sometimes, not always, the only time it's actually gotten that power would be in BT9 when it got all the X stuff. That's when it got crazy, where it just said, "Hey, I'm just gonna swing for 6 checks in total, and then blitz for game."
Yeah, that was not a very fun format right there.
No, but at least there was a way to stop it compared to the previous format before that, BT8 with the blue hybrid. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was pretty much just like, I'm gonna stun you, I'm gonna stun you, I'm gonna stun you, and then I'm gonna bounce you just because I can.
And gain memory off of it because of a Zulongmon.
Mm-hmm.
That was God, that format, dude. I like you know that meme of that guy in like I think like Green Arrow like doing the peace sign at his grave.
Oh
That's
yeah,
like everybody
Flash.
was on me. Just get him out of here. Like that kid needed a hit. Seriously.
I actually tried to burn one of those, and I didn't realize that foil Digimon cards do not burn. So that thing just it like tried to
Yeah.
crumple, but never actually caught fire. It was sort of crazy.
Yeah, it's some weird like plasticish or plastic like cardboard or whatever. It's weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's this format's really weird because there are like a ton of viable decks, but like the problem is that everybody's like, but is it as good as Black War Greymon? And I'm like, no, it doesn't need to be because Black War Greymon bricks so much. Like
Well,
so
now
much.
speaking of being restricted to one with chaos degradation at one, is security control, even just a yellow security control, a viable deck for this? Because you still have the one. It's the Flame
You mean
Hellscythe.
yellow? Yeah, no, well, no, no. The funny thing is that I actually figured out that you can still technically run it, but the problem, so Flame Hellscythe and Chaos Degrade, you actually don't need them. I was trying to figure out a way to run security control in this, and all you really need is just all the old yellow options because hey, we did get a card that was basically Chaos Degrade and Wyverns together, and we you just basically run 4 of those, 4 Wyverns and like maybe like 4/7 heavens, and your whole idea at that point is to just DP reduce, which is still one of the most broken mechanics in the game because only I think only black has a way to stop it. Like Machine Dramon and that new Metal Greymon, I think are some of the few that I know that can actually stop it. Everybody else just dies to the -15 or the random chaos degrade from the Lonk or was it's called Lonk Adastancto or whatever.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know if
can't
I'm
even
pronouncing it
try to
wrong.
pronounce that.
I tried. I tried many times when I played it, and it's a weird card, but it's really strong if it's hit as the fourth card. But um, I think yeah, you just run like a pure healing security control that you run Venus Mons, you run
Oh, you can even run the
Seraphimon.
whole Venusmon line too if you really want to.
Oh yeah, no, you can. You could run no, and of course the staple, the staple, Magna Angemon, the best card still. Healing for
Yeah,
one time.
that card's going to be a little bit more expensive if people are trying to really run this yellow set con for these formats.
It
Um,
should be fine because yellow has a lot of really good tamers. Like the TK car gives you +2. You have the normal car giving you one memory if you heal.
well, and
You
then the
got
regular TK,
oh my god, yeah, I
you will
forgot.
never miss insecurity. Like you search for one yellow, it's a single color format. You're gonna have a yellow in there. Never
Exactly.
miss.
So no, unless your last check in security. Actually, no. In this case, it's fine because in
Hmm.
security control there was always that issue back in like BT6 and 7, specifically of hitting a non-yellow card with TK. But in this case, it should be fine. It should be perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna hit like the what is it? The red Three Musketeer that I can never think of his
Like
name.
Avenge Kidmon.
Yeah,
Like
Avenged Kidmon. You're not gonna hit him in security because you can't play him.
yeah. The only downside of playing a pure color at this point for security control is the fact that you don't get to recycle your deck, so you have to kind of kill them early or rush them or stun them enough so that they run out of resources fast enough. But it just depends on the matchup.
True. And with the lead, speaking of deleting them though, with Death Xmon at 0, is that really a factor in anything? With it being monocolor and X antibody really not being viable unless you're running it in an Eosmon deck, is it really matter that Death Xmon isn't there because you're not going to have to board wipe really that much?
Yeah, I don't really see why they even hit it, honestly. I mean, they like okay, like for example, if you're playing like a pure purple deck, right?
Hmm.
And you run DefX, then it could be viable, but at the same time, I don't know, it's good, but at this point, if you're playing a monocolor, you're only building like a stack. You're not swarming unless it's yeah, unless you're purple. That's the only thing. Maybe they were afraid of like purple decks because especially with the new Mervamon, there's a build that I had where it's a Merva with Beelstar. You can actually swarm the board pretty fast, and your board mostly consists of retaliation blockers. So maybe they were afraid of that getting hit or something. So they're like, hey, let's just hit it preemptively so that way people can do their spamming or whatever.
Yeah.
Or that's my idea.
I mean, my only thought is I run 2 in my Commandramon deck just to stop like the Minervamon loop. So if they play out like 6 bodies, you can de-digivolve the Minervamon that usually put an Ignitemon under it to kill it. But
Yeah.
for this format, I don't see many people other than Loop, Commandramon, or Lord Nightmon really spamming bodies.
Yeah, it's really hard to do it, especially because the meta originally, from what I remember, like people predicting was, before the hits to like Yellow Hybrid. Yellow Hybrid was that deck that kept all these OTK decks in check for a while. But the problem is that by hitting it here and in Japan, you basically allowed every single like OTK deck to just take over because I mean, like, what player does not want to win fast? You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole idea. It's like, do you want to win fast or do you want to do it the old-fashioned way? And most players, like, I would say about like 90% will be like, hey, I just want to win. So it comes down to that.
See, I'm in that 10% because my first deck was Craniumon, so I'll sit there all day with you. If you want to swing, I'll just block.
Uh,
I
for
don't
me,
need to attack.
it was Rookie Rush. So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna play all these guys and swing for game. And Rookie Rush, along with Security Control, is always viable in some capacity. It's just like depending if you hit into like a Crimson Blaze or you hit into like a Def X or your opponent Def X is you. I mean specifically.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's super viable, but the problem is that most people will only do that when, let's say, like they're playing at locals for fun, like they do like a for funds local that day or something. Because most of the time, if it's like a big locals, like the ones in like here in California and like Sacramento, oh man, they will go hardcore. They will like they'll play like all the meta decks, and then you'll see like maybe 5 or 6 rogue decks, and that's it.
See, that's why I like the East Coast. Like, you get a little bit of everything out here. We have a person who plays purple a lot. I'm pretty much the solo black player.
Like
Well, I mean, unless you count Machine Dramon, but I count Machine Dramon as more of a red black than a mono black. And
yeah,
then,
it's
of
a
course,
red.
you have blue. Oh my god,
Oh
blue.
yeah, blue is man. if they're gonna hit like anything, man, blue needs some hits, especially man Hammer Spark. I have not. I cannot name the amount of times where I'm like at 0 and I hit for like I'm like, oh, I'm about to hit for game with 2 guys, and the first check I do is a Hammer Spark and it passes to their turn. Oh my god, I hate that moment.
That's why I
It's
love
the
Chumon. Chumon is like my all-time favorite card.
Oh yeah, dude. Chumon's just like, nah, you ain't getting no memory now, and I'm swinging now, and you lose.
Yeah. Well, and the
That's
funny
like the
thing is with this, like so it's a monocolor event. They banned Death Exmon for it, but then they banned Were Garurumon X Antibody. That also feels unwarranted because if you can't run Cool Boy, you can't run the X Antibody option. Is Were Garurumon even really? Is that whole deck even viable? Is it quick enough anymore?
No, okay. So basically, from how I was testing, like I actually took out my Wear X's and tried to build it with just the Sagittarius mode. It still goes just as fast, surprisingly, because what you do is that instead of like going for that second check with the promo Wear Guru, you just evolve it into the Sagittarius, and then you automatically get 2 checks in that, and then you play like a Hammer Spark or like pop a memory boost, and you just like evolve into Metal Guru X, and you just do it like hard evolve it like without the X antibody, and then bounce stuff. You have to do it a different way, but the deck is still viable. It's just instead of the Cool Boys, I think you'd run like, I don't know.
You run your basic mat.
No.
Well,
You
wait. What's the blue red?
Blue red. Oh, Matt and Sora. Actually, yeah, because that would enable you to finally be immune to options. That's
Yep.
actually pretty nice because it does give you an extra memory if you have, I think, 8 or more cards, I believe.
I think
So,
it's yeah for and that's for both players. So if you're both drawing a lot, you're pretty good.
oh yeah, and then you just go, oh, I'm just gonna swing, bounce your stuff, get 2 checks in the process, get maybe hit at 14, maybe
So
pretty decent.
basically, just run like a bunch of 15. Well, run nothing. Run no deck that can kill that.
Well, I mean, just run. Actually, no. Like I was gonna say crossheart, but I'm like, nah, that's not possible right now. Just run yellow security control because, man, Metal Guru just hard slams into a wall every time they play that deck. Like they can't get past it because every single check they do is either a heal or something that kills them. So they continuously lose a stack like every turn.
Yeah, and then if they have to build up again, they're gonna deck out before it even matters.
Yep. I remember back when Reaper was a threat. Um, there was multiple moments where I was playing against a Metal Guru player, and I hard won the match because I had 2 gatekeepers out, and he can't bounce them because Metal Guru specifies levels, so he can't touch anything in that deck. And once you get the 2 gatekeepers out, he's basically done because he like there's no way for that deck to get past -2 checks. It's actually impossible.
That actually makes me want to run Reaper for this. I can't believe I'm saying that.
The problem is that you'll still run into the Black War Greymon or Guilemon players because Guilemon is strong enough to boost past it. That's actually
True.
the deck that you basically lose to if you run into it.
That is true because it can still swing at your unsuspended and it can boost itself way above 15. So
Yep. But at least Reaper is the only deck that can run the X antibody because it is a white colored deck. So you can just place it underneath Mother Reaper and just go, hey, look, I have more sources now.
I mean, Eosmon can too, but then you run the risk of you have
It,
to hard drop a level 4 for 4, which is great because you can play your Tamer, but then you're letting them play a Tamer, and you can't really Digivolve at all. You have to hard play to start everything.
yeah,
It sort of
Eosmon
sucks.
is still like I don't know about that deck, honestly. It's been struggling since it came out, and then they gave it no support, and then they're like, "Hey, have some alt arts, bro."
Oh my
What?
god, that was miserable. I had to get 9 of them. I was like, what am I doing this for?
Oh. No, you're doing it to max rarity. That's the only reason. They're like, "Hey, you guys like EOS? Here you go, have some EOS."
Well, and the funny thing is, they put that out, and then they put out one green card that helped, and it was the new Agumon that lets you search for a tamer because it doesn't
Oh
specify color. But I'm like, that's one rookie. Like, what am I gonna do with that? Black War Greymon's still gonna swing over and just stomp on my grave.
yeah, that is really true. Yeah.
But the
It,
last ban card we have, though, Cerberusmon Werewolf mode is at 0. I know one of my teammates runs the Minerva loop. Definitely won't be running it with that card dead. Does it
yeah.
affect anything other than the loop, though?
Um, in regards to purple,
Yeah.
not really, because not many, like, I don't know a single person, and I mean this, I don't know a single person still playing Plutomon.
Oh, God, I
That,
forgot about that.
yeah, no, that deck, I remember I actually played that deck. I genuinely enjoyed that deck because of the werewolf mode. I love that card. But man, there was like that one week where it just refused to work, and I just threw it straight in the trash. Like I completely disassembled it, and I just threw the cards back into my commons bin, and I'm like, yep, not doing this again. And then I started playing the purple Metal Guru Digiburst.
Oh, yeah, that
That
one's
one's
good.
much better. That one's much better. But
God,
I don't
that
know.
reminds me of
Purple.
Pulsemon.
Oh yeah. Well, no. So purple at this point, you like I think the most viable deck would be like in my personal opinion, because it has the most removal and the most like speed, is Beelstar. Beelstar with Merva, because as I said, you swarm the board and you set up blockers, and unless they're playing Sorai or Blue Flare or something like that, they ain't stunning your board. They're gonna be like, oh no, I have to swing in. Oh no, my guy died because he has retaliate. He has retaliation. Dang. Oh no, did he draw one off of that too? Sucks.
I mean, the only problem I see with Beelstar is you do lose some of the options since you can't run multicolor.
That
But
is true.
if you can get around it with Minerva instead of the other 7 cost options, it works. You're just not going to get Beelstar out for really cheap at all.
Surprisingly, the cheap, like in the build I keep mentioning, that one, I don't run any other different colors. I only run purple 7 cost options, and the lowest you can make her is about like maybe 3. That's like all the testing I've done with it. I've only been able to reduce her by 3 because there's just not enough cards to reduce her down to 0.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but 3 is pretty decent, because then you just go, oh, I'm just gonna spam the board, and then because they have basically Merva gives anything with retaliation rush. So if you like do a if you do a Beal for like 3, and then you go, okay, I play these 2 guys retaliation, and you already have 3 attacks from the previous turn by summoning with Merva, you basically have gain because you're swinging for like 5 checks in total.
So the question is, would you go Beelstar or would you go Beelsmon? Because the Beelsmon deck is straight purple too, right?
That is true. The only downside is that every time I've ever seen somebody play that deck, I've seen them mill themselves out before I could even kill them.
Yeah, but that's also in a dual color, everyone running all crazy options format. This is just solo color where, yeah, you're going to mill, but I don't think there's much that can really stop you.
That's true. Yeah, especially with the extra checks that you get from Beals. I mean, yeah, it is viable. It's just I'm more worried about the milling, because I don't like milling without the ability to recover stuff. That's the main thing I have with, like, why I don't like Hades Force, because it kills tamers, and then you can't recover the tamers anymore unless, the next set where you're playing like the new red hybrid that does do that, then it's more
Mm-hmm.
viable. But you know, get discarding without recovery is always a problem for me, specifically, especially in purple,
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
I never really have that problem in black, but then again, it's Dark Knightmon where you can bring one back if you accidentally trash it,
exactly.
so you're fine.
That's why I love Dark Knightmon so much, because it's like you get hella resources back no matter what, because you're like, oh cool, I get to do this again, and I get to evolve again as well. So it's really nice, honestly.
Yeah,
But that's not viable right now.
Dark
It's
Knightmon is actually look what I'm possibly looking at for the new Ultimate Cup rules, just
Yeah,
because the main one has purple, but it's also black, so it's playable. And then you just
true,
throw in some flair and some DG dimension. Nothing's really going to get around de-digivolving with not multiple
true.
colors in it.
Well, at the same time, Blue Flare is going to be a top contender,
Oh
because
god, I
that
hate that
deck.
deck.
I know, because it stuns your whole board.
It stuns everything. I can't do shit.
Yeah, yeah, it's literally the new blue hybrid. If Tommy was still around, people would be playing 4 of that card in blue flare because it hurts so bad. Like seriously.
Well, speaking of Tommy, something I had to do every single time with because my team made me build blue hybrid, and thank God mulligans were a thing at locals, or I would have lost a lot. But they do
Yeah.
have the mulligan rule for Ultimate Cup, so it's basically the same as the old one, but no side decks. Do you really think that mulligans are going to be a factor with a monocolor, or you're just going to get what you get and deal with it?
I feel like mulligans will help a lot because I remember back when everybody was just playing monocolor decks and there was always a 50-50 chance of bricking. Even if your ratios were perfect, you would still break no matter what. Like back then I would play, was it like Blue Imperial? Man, that deck would brick so hard sometimes. Like sometimes you would just get like the most broken hands at like just the perfect line, like through just drawing. And then sometimes you would just have all your sixes and all your fives in your hand.
Or,
So
sit there and then try and draw a rookie and you're going 7 turns without seeing one.
yeah, exactly. So I feel the mulligan rule actually does help with that. They knew, Bandai knew that if they switched it to a monocolor format, they knew everybody was going to break. So they just went like, you know what, we had a mulligan rule, might as well re-implement it or something.
Yeah, true. I mean, Mulligan is also nice. I know they've been fixing a lot with their other games, so they have it with One Piece where you can mulligan once and then shuffle again. Battle Spirits, I think you can mulligan and then you just get 4 cards, but if you don't mulligan, you get a fifth, which is nice. Digimon's the only game I've ever played though that doesn't have one straight implemented into its normal set of rules, and it's
I mean,
only the
Yu-Gi-Oh
Ultimate
does it.
Cups.
I mean, I know Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have mulligans, do they? Or did they implement one finally?
The last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh was like 1998, so I
Okay.
couldn't tell you.
Okay. Because last time I played, it was like pre-pandemic, and man, when you bricked in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like same thing as Digimon.
It's rough.
They need a mulligan rule. I wish they had a mulligan rule, and it's just how it is. But anyway, I feel like mulligan will help a lot. It will because monocolors were not fun. Like I had a friend who would play Black Diaboromon. Oh man, I've had so many matches where I just won because he had to hard play a Diaboro because he just had nothing else to play. His whole hand was just like other things that he just couldn't use.
Yeah, we were actually talking about possibly doing Diaboromon for this set, and then we were like, oh wait, he's white. You can't use him in the damn deck.
Yep, that's the problem.
That's just unfortunate because it really cuts out a lot of your sevens. It cuts out a lot of your sixes for like the big powerhouse, old school powerhouse decks because
Oh
they
yeah.
were off color. So
I
it's
mean,
just rough.
just like I've been hearing a lot where people are just saying, "Hey, just play Yellow Hybrid and run Shine Greymon or something," because you have like how many tamers on board half the time? Just blow up their guys. That's literally the best option I feel is yellow or blue. Yeah, yellow or blue because they both have very solid monocolor decks.
That is true. I mean, Black does have a few solid ones, but they've never been meta. They've never been close enough to really saving themselves. Even
Yeah,
Commandramon, you can, swing one, it dies, you bring another one out. You're basically just rookie rushing with this type of format as quick as you can. Yeah, you can do the new where you can digivolve up and then swing out and spam the board that way. But like
yeah.
you said, if I swing with the Dark Dramon at 12 and I run into a DP reduction, or blue flare comes out, strips my sources, what's the point? I'm not going to be able to swing. I'm not going to be able to survive. I can't decoy a DP reduction,
Oh yeah, no.
which DP reduction.
What about Alphamon? Because isn't or you can mode black, right?
Or Yukon mode is, but the problem is Dor Greymon is still restricted no matter what.
True, but then I saw people at nationals playing alpha with that other dragon, the Hisei Ryumon or whatever. They were running that instead of the Doru, and I'm like, why are you doing this? You're just gonna die to like a chaos degrade or something.
Well, and that's the thing with Nats, it wasn't viable. With a monocolor, it may work, but like you said, DP reduction is the most broken thing in the game. No one's getting around that.
Nope.
Not in
That's
monocolor.
that's the unfortunate thing is that the only well in monocolor, if you were to build like a pure black like machine Dramon, you could possibly do it. You could
But I'm gonna
because
give you 13 memory to start. Like
oh yeah, nah man, nah, I ain't
that,
doing
that's
that.
too much.
Nah. I think the most viable would be like rush decks like Commandramon, Blue Flare, and then for stack stuff or tamer stuff, it would be yellow and blue. I don't know, blue, metal, gray, or Melga maybe. Melga I feel still has potential. It's just kind of nerfed, but it can get around it surprisingly.
So what about red? Would you do like Marsmon maybe?
No, you could still do no. So the thing is, before everybody started doing the normal War Gray X play, the original decks that were going around, especially in the OCG format, were basically just you make the War Greymon, the one that negates options. You just make that one, and you just boost him to like 18,000 for 7 checks, and then you blitz for game basically. That's literally all you do. Like you don't even rely on the War Gray X. Like a lot of those builds only ran one War Gray X and maybe like 2 X antibodies, but they never needed it. They would never go into that one. They would just swing with the War Gray and then blitz for game afterwards.
So at that point, you're just making sure you have the right set in hands. But with a
Yeah.
mulligan, it makes it easier.
Oh yeah. I feel people are gonna revert back to the old War Gray like multi-check one with Blitz. Maybe they would run more of the the EX1 War Gray where when it swings it deletes a blocker.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would run that one because then they can blitz and do hella checks at the same time. Because if you stack it right and you have a tie on board, you should be swinging for like one, two, three, yeah, at least 4 checks in total. So
I mean,
if you
that wouldn't
blitz,
be bad. That wouldn't be
yeah,
bad at all.
yeah, I feel like everybody's probably gonna go with that because yes, you can play Black War Greymon X. Yes, you can play that deck, but you're not gonna get the extra like reductions because when you use that, you can't use the other Greymon for protection because basically, if you do that, you're basically swinging in, hoping to God that you don't die. Because, yay, you get a reduction, but at the same time, you're losing out on protection, which is like the main like selling point of Black War Greymon X at the moment is that he can become basically immune to everything except for battle.
Right. Which is what everyone got mad about with Alphamon, so they nerfed it, and they're like, nah, Black War Gray's fine.
Yeah, no, I love how the shift is like, oh, we don't like that guy, but we like this guy. He's more edgy.
He's cool. We don't affect the cool kids. Anyone with cool boy, we don't affect.
Yeah, apparently, because it's like I feel like at this point the Royal Knights are treated as like kind of like I don't know how to say it. They're treated as that group that everybody thinks like, oh, they're just the Royal Knights, whatever, like that kind of feeling to it. Because it's like Gallantmon continues to get support, but the support doesn't give it the power it needs to do things. It can swing, it can DP or it can kill by deletion through like DP increases, right? Through its abilities,
Mm-hmm.
but it has no protection still. None
Well,
of the cards give protection.
and I love how when I first started playing Shoutmon originally, like old Shoutmon,
Oh yeah, the DX,
the
the
DX,
DX
I
play.
loved it, and everyone's like, yeah, it's gonna get support. And then the support came out, and it's Cross Hearts, and I'm like, this is not support for Shoutmon. This is a whole nother deck.
Yeah. Well, no, some people figured out a way to run the old one in there, but there was no point because now we even got a new Shotmon DX that's even better because it freezes a dude and it pops a guy too at the same time. Like what?
And you can make it cheap.
Yep.
It's so dumb.
I actually just like for the first time since that card came out, I played it yesterday and I killed his like he had 2 level 5s on board because he evolved one push up and then he hard played one. I passed him to 2 and I killed one and froze the other. So yeah. And then he bounced it and I'm like, all right, cool. He counts as either. It doesn't matter. And I drew into another Zeke. So I'm like,
So
we're
you're
going in.
basically just like, yeah, shake my hand, we're done.
Yeah. No, literally because that next turn I just X7'd him. And it's It's so disgusting. I can see why they had to switch it to monocolor, because if not, Crossheart would have destroyed that Ultimate Cup again.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, are you
seriously.
feeling any hurt from the restrict on the X4 or no?
No, I don't feel so that's the weird thing, is that people hit the X, like they hit the X4 mainly because of its secondary effect. Because the first effect, yeah, you get to draw 2 cards, but that doesn't matter when you don't draw the right cards. But the other ability of unsuspending a tamer and being able to do it again is what made that deck like broken to the point where they had to limit it. But the problem now is X3. X3 is worse because you get to look at the top 3 cards. You get to choose what you want, and you get to add exactly what you need. And it has rush and piercing, and it does minus 2,000 to your security Digimon. So it's going to swing. It's going to die. Yeah, cool. But then if he has, like, say, the other X3 copies in his hands, he's just going to do it like 3 more times on you, and you lose at that point.
And then, God forbid, you have the one off of the X4. You can do that one just for fun.
Exactly. And even worse, if they're running what is it, the King Shoutmon or the Star Sword Shoutmon, you basically get an extra check no matter what, and you get to kill something in the process.
That's I need to play
Yeah.
that deck so I get used to it, but I don't know if I can get behind it because, at least for me, it would feel like I'm cheating. Like, okay, I die, I swing again, I die, I swing again. All right, let's just keep doing this. I'm just gonna recycle. Why not?
The problem also is that the weirder thing is that that deck, it becomes irrelevant next set. Like, it's there, but everybody, and I mean this, is going to be playing Hunters, because Hunters, I actually went back and read some of the cards because I was like, there's no way these cards are disc broken. And then I read, when this guy dies, save this guy underneath, and then save something from trash too.
So you're
What?
saving something that's already dead.
Yeah. So you almost all of the level 4s in that set have an effect that say, hey, add another guy from your trash underneath a tamer. And every single one of the tamers in that set say, when you were to digicross, tap this tamer and equip something to that guy. So when digivolving, not digicrossing, because it actually focuses on digivolving your rookie or something that's in raising, right, when you push it out. And the gross thing is that if you have enough materials, it, like, they get benefits from that. Like, one says, if you have more than 4 sources, or if you have 4 sources or more, this guy doesn't suspend when he swings into security for damage.
Yeah, I'm super building Hunters. I'm so looking
Yeah.
forward to it. It's gonna be crazy.
It's going to be gross because not only that, is that almost every single one of them has an alternate evolution clause that says, specifically, what is it? You can evolve for a certain amount on something with save in its text. So even if the baby is off color, if it has save in the text, you get to just evolve it for 0. It's disgusting.
So it's cross hearts on steroids.
Oh no, even worse. It's like, no, because they also get a level 5 that says if you have 4 or more, you get to just get to skip into Quartzmon for a reduced cost of 3. So you basically evolve for almost 0 cost in the process. Because I forgot to mention this, the tamers also, when they equip something onto a guy, it reduces the cost. So almost every one of your evolutions is 0 by my calculations. So then you just pass turn to 1 and evolve into Quartzmon for free cost, and then you suspend everything on their board, and they can't unsuspend.
So that's pretty much just a lockout right there. Unless they're gonna rush down or get rid of it with some crazy option. Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a really bad format, and unless they hit something like, actually no, it doesn't matter because there's replacements for every card. The problem is that they printed almost every single Digimon from the season 3 of Cross Wars that can do that. So if they ban one, you can just replace it with the other one.
They pretty much have to ban the whole line and take a
Yeah,
huge
they have
loss.
to. Yeah, because almost every rookie that's part of that deck has save. All their level 4s have save. All the level 5s have save, and they don't even run a level 6. They just skip 6 into 7.
So as a We're getting ready to wrap up here, but as a last topic with that, do you think we are approaching what Yu-Gi-Oh has in a tier 0 format next
I
set?
I believe so. Next set, it's gonna be strong. Um, I feel like the thing is that the next set is bringing way too many broken cards. Like, Red Hybrid gets a boost, but the thing is that I noticed looking at the OCG, it actually tops off. It tops in the beginning. It does very well because nobody knows how to play against it anymore, right? Because nobody's playing Hybrid anymore. So everybody's like, oh, how do I beat this? But then people start figuring out, and it stops getting first places or even second places, basically. And that's because A, War Greymon, and B, Cross Hunters, and C, all the green cards and black decks, or yeah, all the green and black decks get access to Quartzmon because it is a level 7 that can evolve on green, black, and white.
Yeah, I will have it in Eosmon and Commandramon, 100%. Not even
I
gonna
will
think
have
about
it.
it.
I will have it in Grandis and Bloomlord. In
Oh, I
Bloomlord, it's
forgot about that.
yeah, it's gonna be disgusting. You can just go, hey, so I don't want to pass turn for you, so I'm just gonna make Quartzmon and suspend your guy so he can't go for game.
So I'm just never gonna play you when BT12 launches. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, no, no. You know what's dumber is that because it evolves on black by EX4, I can evolve Quartzmon on top of Black Seraphimon and Security Control.
Oh god, I should not tell my teammate about that. That's oh.
Yeah, I noticed that Black Seraphi is black and yellow, so I'm like, oh, I can do that, and I can DDG evolve stuff and do minus stuff on everybody. So
And then just
yay.
suspend what's left, because why not?
Exactly. Yeah, because if he survives, I'm like, all right, cool. Oh, hey, did you evolve him? Okay, you make him back into Black Seraphi. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
Oh, that is miserable.
Yeah, no, the next sets are going to be bringing some really disgusting cards. And honestly, I feel at this point, um, Bandai needs to be more on the ball about this, like especially with ban lists. Like you know how Yu-Gi-Oh does it? They do it like every 3 months. They do a consistent ban list, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or possibly maybe like every 2 to 3 set. I would say every 2 sets because by that point it's getting out of hand. So they need to like hit some cards. Just have like a team look at the ones that are topping, like right now, like Black War Gray, Crossheart, Melga, like all those top decks, and just maybe hit something and get them out of the way so that other decks can come out. Because if not, they're actually going to be losing money because everybody's like either going to just buy the brand new decks that are super OP, or they're gonna stick with the old ones that are still OP. Because if they don't hit Black War or they don't hit the other ones, those decks will continue to be played, and then you'll lose out on some profits, basically.
Yeah. Well, and they have so much in the pipes right now with BT12, the Royal Knights and BT13,
Oh
EX4.
God.
They got Battle Spirits. They got One Piece. It feels like they're stretching themselves so thin, and something is gonna get missed somewhere.
Oh yeah. I feel that's what's happening is that um because of that overstretching of their resources, they're not paying attention to how messed up the meta is here. Like they're just assuming it's like the OCG, where oh, the new set will just fix everything, which is not a good idea because then you're still leaving all these broken cards in the meta still for people to abuse.
And to figure out how
So
to work into other decks. So it's like, yeah, it wasn't built for that deck, but oh, Sec Control? Yeah, it works in that.
yeah. Well, no, but that's set control. Set control can use anything. That's the weird part. It's
Mm-hmm.
like no matter what, you can always adapt it. Mainly, no, the main issue is the tamers. The tamers enable too many things, like, especially now we're getting dual color tamers. Man, I am worried if they ever come up with the idea of a triple tamer, like just a triple colored tamer, like a black, yellow, and purple one. Oh my god,
Oh, like a
if that
6 cost one or something like that?
yeah, yeah, it's like 6 costs, but it's 3 different colors, so you get so much benefit because you don't even have to run like half the tamers you have to do anymore. You know,
No, you
if
can
they do
pretty much
that,
play anything off of those alone.
oh yeah, exactly. If they ever do that, it's gonna mess up the whole game because people are gonna start thinking like, hey, maybe I should play that deck that runs 3 of those tamers that have 3 colors. It's like because then they just have access to 3 different colors. that was the main thing with Digimon, is that everybody was locked into a color and you were kind of like, oh, I have to play this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now with dual colors and dual color Digimon and options, you have that option to like combine stuff together. And originally, the only deck that could do that was Security Control. But now every deck can do it, and that's what makes every deck so broken now.
Everyone has access to pretty much whatever they really need. If they want to run one line of green, but they want to splash in some yellow, just throw that dual tamer in, and you're good. You're cooking.
Or if you want to play green purple, because there are green purple cards that exist.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do both and just be a horrible person and play purple and like pop boards and stuff while doing your green suspension stuff.
It's gonna get interesting, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it will. It will.
Well, thanks for coming on, everyone. Thanks for coming out, watching this. We will, like I said, hopefully be doing these every Friday. Just some quick, well, not really quick, but some unscripted conversation about some of the stuff coming up. So hopefully you guys join us. Again, that's Analog Man. His link for his YouTube will be on the bottom. So click that, check it out. He's got some awesome profiles over there. And we hope to see everyone back here soon. Best of luck in the upcoming Ultimate Cup if I don't say it next week, because I know I will be fearing blue by that point and probably just upset that it's coming. But
Yeah.
other than that, y'all have a good night. Analog Man, thanks for coming out, and hope y'all have a good
No
one.
problem, man. Yeah. See you.